Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Bead Sisters. I'm Kay, and I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to talk about a little bit of finished knitting, looking for ideas for my next project, and SAF plans, the Southeast Animal Fiber Fair. It's in 2 days. So welcome. Grab a cup of coffee. I have some in my pumpkin mug that my friend Priscilla gave me. And we're going to chat for a few minutes. I have tons of stuff to do today, but this is the first big thing on my to-do list today. So let's get started. All right, first of all, what I finished. I've got 2 things that I finished off. They're small, but they're super cute. Okay, this is the Gotti Hat, G-H-A-T-I, from Arabian Knits, and it's a little preemie to newborn size, like a bonnet. It is knit flat and then decreased to form the shape. You attach yarn and it has you do a crochet chain. You could probably do I-cord too, but a little chain for the ties, and it just uses a tiny bit of yarn. This yarn is from One Twisted Tree, Admiral Adana colorway. It's labeled sport, but she actually says somewhere, maybe on her Ravelry page for it, maybe, it's a fairly hefty sport weight. I think it's actually listed on Ravelry as DK. It's 271 yards per 100 grams. So that's what I'm looking for. We'll talk about it in a minute, but what I can do with the rest of this yarn. So the Gotti hat, isn't that cute? Very sweet. This is going to go in my basket of baby gifts for whenever I need a baby gift. So again, that's the Gotti hat from Arabian Knits. The other thing I finished is which is already here, my second Midas hat. Here you can see the decreases on the top. They're really simple decreases, but they make a really good little swirly kind of pattern. Can't really see it very well. This yarn hides it a bit. And this is the one with the folded brim. I can see the fold. So I'm pretty happy with that. The Midas Hat by Reinbach. You could fold that up right like that, or it can be kind of slouchy like this. Oh, it's pretty good with this shirt. So folded brim hat, slightly slouchy. And I just really like this folded brim. I think it gives it a super nice finish. It is particularly nice if you have some color work to do a folded brim because it covers the back of the color work. So the yarn is Ryan yarn in the Picture of Dorian Gray colorway. This is the one that started off with the pooling on the brim. So I got this kind of interesting pooling. But then you increase about 10% for this side of the brim and then continuing on. And I got striping. Anyway, I think actually striped really nicely for a yarn that's not designed to be self-striping. So I think that's pretty cool. It would probably work actually. I think you would get just thicker stripes maybe with socks. I don't know. I'm not sure if it would be regular enough or if you would get pooling with socks. There's probably a way to figure that out doing math, but alas. Okay, that's it for finished stuff that I've knit. What I've mostly finished are things for SAF. So what I want to ask you is any ideas for the rest of this yarn? I don't mind doing another hat. I've looked at mitts, I've looked at hats, baby sweaters maybe. Do you have a sport weight baby sweater? What do you think? I think it would be a really cute, or sport or to DK baby sweater. I don't have tons because I've got like probably 200-ish yards, maybe a little bit more than that. I haven't weighed this. But if you have a suggestion for that, let me know. I'm probably not going to cast anything else on at the moment because 2 days from now, like literally 2 days from right now, I will be pulling into the fairgrounds, the Western North Carolina Ag Fairgrounds in Fletcher, North Carolina for SAF. And I'm taking 2 classes, very excited about that. I am taking ice dyeing, which I think the idea is you put the dye on top of ice and it melts through, something like that. We'll see. I'm going to learn. That's my first class from, I think it's 9 to 11. Then I have a 2-hour break, and my next class starts at 1, and it's beginner brioche. I've looked at some brioche a little bit at retreats. They'll do like, hey, I'll show you how to do brioche, and so it's maybe an hour of somebody demonstrating a little bit. But I didn't quite catch on enough to do it on my own. So I'm hoping to get that started while I'm there. There's a simple cowl project that you do for the class. I've actually got to get materials for that today. It calls for a 16-inch circular in US 11. So whatever that is, I'm not even sure what millimeters are for that. But US 11 needle, 16-inch, which I'm going to double check, but I don't think I have one. So I'm going to get that today. Plus 2 contrasting colors of bulky weight yarn, which I don't have. So poor me, I have to go to the craft store. So I'll stop by a craft store today while I'm in town. I've got to go in. Janie has an orthodontist appointment, and there is a Hobby Lobby not far from this. Only craft store in that area. So we'll head over to Hobby Lobby, and hopefully I can find a couple of things that will work for this pattern. I was hoping that the teacher was going to send that pattern ahead of time to be able to cast on. It actually mentions that, but so far I haven't gotten it. I hope that there's not a problem. But anyway, if I have to, I'll cast on at the beginning of the class. I have my list. The other thing at SAF is that I'm really looking forward to seeing some friends that I haven't seen in several years for pandemic reasons, for personal reasons, for cancellation reasons, all of those things. We just haven't seen each other. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I am meeting up with Jennifer from the Real Knitting YouTube channel. And we're going to just have coffee, I think, Saturday morning before the vendor market opens. And I'm excited to see her and talk to her. She's got lots of fun things going on. Her channel is obviously about her knitting, but she also, I think, is a yoga instructor. So she does yoga for knitters, specific things that would be helpful for a knitter. She also has some tutorials on there, so check that out. And I am excited to see her. I've had several friends contact me that they're going to stop by, hopefully, and I'll get to visit with them. I've heard from Dana of Unwind. Dana's going to be there. And Tiffany, who I think it's the project bag. Who else? Tracy, Phoenix Fire, I think, on Ravelry. Heard from her. There was a couple other people that were like, oh, I'm not going to be there, and I'm so sad because I want to see everybody. I will tell you, if any of you who have known me for more than 3 years, you may know that I'm typically not a hugger. COVID broke me. My mom's side of the family, they are not huggers for the most part. My dad's side, they are. And so I grew up with one side of my family's like, hi, nice to see you from a distance. And then my dad's side, it's open arms all the time. The fact that we were closed off from people, even for a little while, flipped a switch with me. So if you don't want to hug, feel free to tell me. I think what happened very, very early on, like spring of 2020, there was a very sweet older couple that my husband and I have known for years, and the husband died quite suddenly. He got up, went out to get their newspaper, and didn't make it back in the house. And they had a funeral service for him, again, spring or fairly early in 2020. And I said, if this lady needs a hug, she can have one. I'm not going to make this woman sit by herself while she's grieving the sudden death of her husband. Her family was actually quite supportive, and she didn't necessarily need me, but that was my attitude going in. So that's where I am now. So if you're a hugger, this year I'm in. All right, let's talk about what I'm going to have in my booth. Oh, the other thing is my husband and daughter are coming with me. We'll be in our camper on the grounds, and our dog Bentley will be there. So if you ever want to meet Bentley, let me know. We'll see if we can arrange a meetup for you. We'll put you on his calendar. Okay, let's talk about what I have for SAF. I'm pretty excited about this stuff. Okay, I think I've shown you all the bags. I absolutely love this canning jar thing with all the bags on all the jars of goodies on, not really on a shelf, on top of each other. This was largely my inspiration for my new yarn colors. I have 5. I have tomato. This one's tomato. I have fresh corn. I'll just hold it up for you. Fresh corn. I have a colored greens. I have eggplant. It's actually photographing fairly nicely. Purples are notoriously difficult on camera. And I think I showed you this one already, mason jar. Okay, so here's the other thing that I'm pretty happy about. Okay, I'll hold these up for you. You see those? Oh, it's getting hidden. I'll turn that around. So those are my colors. And I have minis. Look at this. Isn't that cute? I have one of each color and 20 gram minis in a canning jar. Now here's the thing. You could run your yarn through here, or you could use it what it's meant for. I mean, if you're that sort of rule following person, and you could put a straw in it using for drinking if you're enough of a redneck. So I will have these for sale. These are going to be 5 minis, so 100 grams of yarn, 5 20 gram minis, one of each color, in a jar for $31. I am really happy about these. I think that's cute. I've only got 10 of these. Well, I have more jars, but I only have 10 sets of minis. And look at that. How's that for inspiration? I'm so excited. It's been 3 years, y'all, and attendance was down in 2019 at SAF. They actually had it last year. I wasn't able to go. But in 2019, do y'all remember the Legionnaire's disease outbreak in that area? Oh my goodness, so attendance was even down then. So it's been a long time since I've seen some of the people there. So I'm really excited about seeing everybody. So anyway, that's my stuff for SAF. My plan, fingers crossed, tomorrow I'm gonna get stuff, most of it at least, photographed and put up on the Bead Sisters website. Hopefully it will be available all weekend. It's all connected to the same point of sale. And so hopefully I can keep everything running all weekend and there won't be any problem with selling the same thing online or in person. But if the website gets shut down, that's likely just me not being able to keep an eye on both, but it should be fine. But hopefully I will have that up. If by any chance you've seen something here that you want and it's not on the website, send me an email and I will do my best to pull one out and save it for you. Okay, we'll talk about a couple of other things that I've been doing, and then I got to get going. We got to be at the orthodontist's office in 2 hours, and it's about a 45-minute drive. So let's talk about the other stuff that's been going on. I, first of all, have been working on making biscuits from scratch. Do you do this? Do you make biscuits from scratch? I've always wanted to be able to do it, and I was never any good at it. But there's a pretty simple recipe on the bag of self-rising flour that I have. And I gotta admit, using self-rising flour kind of makes me feel like a fraud. But I figured I'll start there. I'll start with the self-rising flour. You add shortening and milk. And then it's been just a matter of figuring how much to flatten it out or roll it out to get the perfect fluff to my biscuits. I think I did it last night. It was close anyway. They've improved quite a bit. I had a friend in high school who worked at Bojangles. He and one of his buddies worked at Bojangles, and one was in charge of chicken and one was in charge of biscuits. And the one that was in charge of chicken, they tried to teach him to do biscuits, and he said he just couldn't do it. He said, I always ended up with either beer cans or hockey pucks. So they were like little squished down biscuits, or they were way too tall. So apparently they were making them fresh all the time. Do they still do that at Bojangles? I don't know. They did in the 80s. So I was ending up with beer cans and hockey pucks. Hopefully I have solved that problem and I've got it down to where I can do it more consistently. So do you make biscuits from scratch? I really want to be able to do this. The next step is to try to do it from plain fat flour and add the leavening ingredients myself. The other thing I had last night, which I've done before, but I thought I would mention, if you have trouble falling asleep, does warm milk help? I always thought that sounded really gross, but I found a recipe for warm vanilla milk, which is fabulous. So it's not necessarily the specific recipe, but that's what got me to make this effort. My glasses are sliding today for some reason. It's a cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of sugar, I think, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a little bit of nutmeg. So that's what I had last night. I had a pretty bad sinus headache. It's better. It's still there, but it's better this morning. And I was a little kind of keyed up, which is what my mom would have called it, and made some last night, and it really was delicious and very soothing. So you put all of that, well, except the nutmeg, you put the milk, sugar, and vanilla in a mug and put it in the microwave for a minute. It actually could have been a little hotter for my preference, but for a minute was good. And then I have a nutmeg grater, and I grated a little bit of nutmeg on the top, and it was a very comfortable temperature at that. So if you think you would like, if warm milk sounds gross, try warm vanilla milk. It's excellent. The last thing I was going to tell you is I finished The Judge's List by John Grisham. It was pretty good. I liked it, and I am glad I read it. It didn't have enough detective work in it for me. Figuring out the mystery is usually what I like, and it didn't do enough of that for me. But on the whole, the character development was very appealing. I like the main character of Lacey, and there's another character in it, Jerry, who is a woman. And her character came across as sort of crazy early on, but the development of that character was really interesting, and how I saw her very differently by the end of the book. So I really, really liked that. I liked her character quite a bit, and I really thought the development of that character was very well done. So not the most satisfying ending, but satisfying enough that I would say it's worth reading. You won't be disappointed in the ending. I don't want to give away too much if you would like to read it, but The Judge's List by John Grisham, and I really, really enjoyed it. Not my favorite book, but definitely worth my time and a fun read. I'm looking at something else. There's a book that I didn't realize I had read half of it. I may try to pick up, and I may have to start over. It's a James Rollins book. I think it's The Last Odyssey. It came out several years ago, I think. So I may pick that one up and skim over the first half and see if I'm going to finish that one up. But maybe I might have some reading time this weekend, or I might come back every day and just fall asleep. All right, everybody, I have got to get out of here. I'm going to do my best to get this edited and uploaded at the library this afternoon. Last week's video, I had it set to attempt to upload literally the entire week from Wednesday, I think, until yesterday, and it did not. It eventually gave up and just said like video upload aborted or something. But I went to the library and it was uploaded in like 15 minutes. So hopefully this one will get edited and I can upload it at the library this afternoon. We're going to stop by a library on the way to Janie's writing lesson. Okay, everyone, I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are enjoying your projects, and I also hope that I will get a chance to see you at SAF this weekend. But if not, send me an email and we'll chat online. Take care, everybody.